I wonder how often we call fear faith. If we try and fail, is that really proof that God wasn't okay with the plan? What if the resistance we feel isn't always God saying no? What if sometimes it's fear wearing spiritual language? Some of us say we are waiting on God, but what we are really doing is posing our lives. Not because we don't love God, not because we don't want to obey, but because we are afraid of getting it wrong. I've noticed this in myself and maybe in others too. Many of us say we're waiting on God, but while we're waiting, our life is passing by. There's this inner battle, a project, a dream, a calling that keeps knocking. And on the other side, the question, is God okay with this? Am I allowed to want this? If we are here to experience life, why does waiting sometimes feels like putting life on pause, on hold? We are told to trust God, to follow His word. But what happens when following Him feels like standing still? Why something inside us is asking to move? What if the resistance we feel isn't always God saying no? What if sometimes it's fear wearing spiritual language? If we try and fail, is that really proof that God wasn't okay with the plan? What about the people who tried 10 times, 100 times, failed again and again, and then one random day something worked? Was God against them for all those years? Or were they being shaped by the trying? Even when nothing works, something is still happening inside. Skills are built, discernment grows, humility, patience, courage, those muscles develop. So when we're waiting, what experience are we gaining? Maybe the question is, how am I waiting? Am I waiting with awareness, growth, and openness, or am I waiting frozen, stuck, afraid of being wrong? Because waiting doesn't have to mean doing nothing. I don't have answer, but I believe God nudges us, sometimes toward action, sometimes toward pause. But I wonder how often we call fear faith and stillness obedience, when life itself might be asking us to step forward. So I will leave this as a question, not as a statement. When you say you're waiting on God, and that question actually belongs to me when I say I'm waiting on God, what are you actually waiting for? What am I actually waiting for? Because we tend to be afraid, to get stuck in our head, to get stuck. And that's when it's important to ask questions to yourself and be honest about where you stand, where you are, what is actually going on inside. It's an opportunity again to pause and inquire inside what is actually happening. What are your thoughts? What are your fears? What are your what is your plan? To discern, to have a discernment to, is it actually God or is it the fear? Is it the monkey inside me talking? Thank you for watching.